I didn't hear that.
Isn't that what makes a cave?
A cave?
A cave. What makes a thing a cave? It has to have like
a cape?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Cape Canaveral, mate. Yeah, that's what it's called. And there's alligators and snakes all over the place around there. There's signs on the road, don't get out of your car, a snake might bite you.
There's a snake in my boot.
I've seen alligators down here in little ponds, in the road, getting arrested by the police. That was fun. I woke up one morning going to work and the police were putting this alligator in the back of the truck and had its little hands behind its back. It was terrible.
Profiling.
It was easily big enough to eat a dog. It was at least probably 5 feet long. But it was in the neighborhood and it didn't belong there. And I mean, I understood they had to get rid of it. I just hope they didn't kill it.
I think it's profiling.
Reptocentric. That can apply to most politicians.
It's stop and frisk policy. Only things that apply to alligators.
And it was in somebody's yard, and I mean, it was in a neighborhood where there was lots of small dogs and cats, so easy pickings until somebody said, "There's a gigantic alligator in my yard." Like 5 feet long. You see them all the time. You see them in a pond. Not really big, and it's illegal to go after them because I went with a couple of dudes out in the swamp one time, and they had a big old meat hook on the end of a piece of really thick rope, and they were trying to hook alligators. I was like, no, man, I can't be doing this.
Down getting in the hook in the jaw, then you gotta wrestle them down. You gotta hold that mouth shut, get your foot down. You go.
The other guy had a big spear, a big gig, basically. That when the other guy hooked it, he'd draw it in, and this guy would spear it behind the neck. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Like metal punches, like they use on Old Country, No Country for Old Men. The thing he used.
It was just like a sharp piece of metal that was like about 4 feet long. It was really, shade tree engineering stuff. It wasn't high tech.
This was Hold My Beer.
I don't know how they planned to transport the body. I was like, are you going to put this in a bag or something? Just drag it to the woods? Shit.
Yeah, I think I'll avoid the Hold My Beer alligator.
But I mean, there's gigantic turtles down here. And I don't mean snapping turtles. I've seen water turtles as big as a manhole cover. And they get in the road. Then there's also, they got the Gopher Tortoises, which are endangered. And those are like, I mean, I know we have them terrapins in Missouri, but the Gopher Tortoises are, they're big. They're like about the size of a football helmet, and that's an average size one.
Yeah, and
it's illegal to even touch them. If you get caught touching one, you're in trouble. There's one next to my job, so I would just go stand real close to it. I was afraid even then someone would be like, he's out harassing the turtle.
A good thing.
No, I wanted a really close look at it. Damn. And it was big. It was like a miniature Galapagos tortoise, or whatever you want to call it. I'd say it probably had to weigh at least easily 20 or 30 pounds. It was a big turtle. And I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but the other day, a couple weeks ago, I saw a weasel walking when I was by the wildlife preserve area. I saw a weasel. I thought it was a dead cat. In fact, it was curled up around a rat that it had in its mouth when it ran into the wood.
That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, there's a dead cat in the road. What the hell? And as they got closer, like I said, it uncurled. And I was like, shit! And it was gone before I could ever get a picture of it. Because I wasn't going to walk up on a dead cat and take a picture of it. I wasn't like getting my camera out enough.
Why wouldn't you walk up on a dead cat? I don't. That sounds like a.
I'm walking home from work on the side of the road.
Yeah, but
and there's like a
fucking free dead cat.
Yeah. And there's armadillos all over the damn place. There's possums. There's raccoons. I'm afraid I'm going to get attacked by a raccoon. Deer. There's all kinds of stuff. And it's just like a little area in between apartment areas and a shopping center, and it is on the edge of town. So, but still.
Is Clay a druid like therapy for videos?
Say that again?
Is Clay a druid like therapy for your phobia?
These aren't phobias. I love animals. I love the woods. I just don't want to get attacked by a raccoon because them fuckers have rabies. They're often rabid.
They're just as afraid of what kills them as they are of what kills you.
Clark, you're cutting out, sort of.
I said they're just as
I can't understand what they
And look at that guy.
Well, big bird.
Brad said he'd be back after he had a smoke, and that was 15 minutes ago.
What's he smoking?
Yeah, he must be really enjoying his fucking box of cigars, I guess. I don't know.
The other cigar I actually like, backwoods. You ever tried to hit the backwoods?
I have not. I don't smoke.
I'll smoke that cigar every now and then.
I haven't smoked cigarettes for years, but I will smoke a cigar.
I like a pipe too. I like a pipe today.
Yeah, I don't mind a pipe, but I prefer cigars. A lot of places here in Florida that you can get cigars. So, and I've had several people give me Cubans. And I wasn't really impressed. I prefer Honduran cigars.
Got Cuban. Pretty good.
They're not bad, but I mean, I went to I used to go to this place in Tampa called Ybor City, and there's like actual cigar factories there, and that was a famous place in the past, blah, blah, blah. And they had lots of cigars to choose from, and going up there and going clubbing and stuff, every time I would go up there and go clubbing, I would go get me some cigars. And I figured out my favorite were they're like these from Honduras, and they're rolled by Indians. And I was like, yeah, rolled by Mayan Indians, and they're really black, dark cigars, and they really taste good. So, and that's just my personal preference. When I went to the Bahamas, I bought a thing of Cuban cigars, and they certainly smell good. I'll say that.
They're usually stronger than like a Macanudo. Got a strong profile.
Yeah, and that's why I like the Honduran ones, because they're strong. And I call them my crowd clear, because I'll go sit somewhere, stand somewhere, and blow on one of them dudes, and people move away. That'll give me some space to be like, puff, puff, puff. But I'm proud that I haven't smoked a cigarette in probably over 10 years. Now other things, that's different. But I don't fiend for cigarettes anymore like I did.
Yeah, you might as well smoke crack at the cost of them.
That's another reason why I quit. I was like, this is ridiculous. I remember buying packs of things for $1. I remember us going out cruising, and everybody would pitch in a quarter or a couple quarters, and we would all just split a pack of cigarettes. $1, $1.50, and then when they started to get, it's like comic books. I used to buy comic books when they were 20 cents, and I bitched when they went up to 25.
How much do comic books cost now?
Dollars. Multiple dollars. I haven't even looked at a new comic book for I don't know how long. A friend of mine at work reads them, and he'll occasionally voice them off on me to look at, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, why don't you like it? I was like, because the artwork sucks. The stories are often good, but if that's the case, I'd rather just read it in a book. Because the artwork stinks in most of them. They're horrible. Most of the artwork now is not by hand. It's Photoshop and blah-de-da. I prefer the Jack Kirby stuff, that era where people actually drew with a pencil on a piece of paper. Wow, you done smoking them cigars?
Yeah. Probably stuff too.
Light behind these terrible, Brad. You look like the president.
Daryl, you still years on here?
Yeah.
Piece theater, look here. Good evening.
Have a good one. Now I can't see you at all. And anonymous. And our fourth player in the witness protection program.
Well, I think we can. Hey, that's good, Brad. I think we can begin tonight's session, episode 65.
And she's a 24-foot panels from the house tomorrow. Yeah. No, it's 24-foot panels on the back of the house. Yeah, we even had to trim them back, so back it pick up. Yeah, he got you done another order anyway.
All right, so quick recap. The group had been being escorted by the Hammerhams and by Fimez to different islands inhabited by solitary giants and their friends or minions or whatever you'd like to call them. And the first island they went to, there was a hill giant by the name of Helios that they encountered, and then they started a fight with Helios's ogre guards, and they defeated the ogre guards, and then the ogre guards were raised from the dead, and Helios proclaimed and said, "You all have the blessing of Stallman Klim," which was a name that you all were told was the leader of a death cult. And so after paying a coin, you were then escorted to the next island. This was the home of Infante, a mountain giant. And upon learning that the mountains were actually underwater here now, Fimez and Infante seemed to be very friendly, and they were making jokes, and Infante seemed to take a liking to the dwarf Pikel, and there was an attack on this island by some fishmen, the Kuo-Toas, and they were defeated, but in the midst of this battle, the group turned on Fimez, and a very long fight on the forest grounds, and it was a knockdown, drag-out fight. Infante was very upset about the whole thing, and when all was said and done, there were allies that came in to help the group, another dwarf and a half-elf woman, and they helped fight the snake people that were friends of Infante, and some high-level magic was cast, and Paco was gravely wounded. The henchman of Guy, who just happened to be up on the ramp whenever Bart was attacked, and Bart was knocked off the back of the wall, leaving Paco by himself. And so it was just an unfortunate turn of events, but Paco was smashed down. And after the fight, Fimez was deceased. She was killed, and Infante was very upset again and threw a temper tantrum, and eventually he just dejectedly accepted the coin and told them that Caesar would be very upset and that they should leave his island because he didn't like them anymore. And so they did. That evening, before they left, Bart decided to cast a magnificent mansion, and everyone was able to get a good night's rest and some safety. And the half-elf woman, Aluna, told Bart that he was her father, and Bart had no memory of this, but was not like super dismissive. At first he was just kind of laughing it off, but then as the realization sunk in, he offered for Aluna and Bjorn to join them, and she accepted, and they had a conversation, and that's kind of where it was left. And Paco was searched for the next morning, or he was searched for the previous evening and was not found. And in the morning, Infante and the 6 snaked creature that had a snake body, but then 6 snake like heads coming off where like a single head would be if it was a humanoid, was there, and Infante was holding Paco's limp body. Paco was examined and he was alive, and Infante and the snake creature left. And so the group then packed up and made their way back to the shoreline, where they signaled the Hammerham ship anchored off the island, and they were brought back on board. And when asked where Fimez was, the Hammerhamans were told she would no longer be traveling with them, and the Hammerhamans did not seem displeased about that information, but they were not joyous or jubilant either. They seemed like they were waiting for the other shoe to drop. So but they decided to set sail, and as they were sailing to what supposedly would have been the next island, they encountered this gigantic ship, a giant's sailing vessel, and they were hoisted aboard, or at least up to the level of the deck of that ship, as if the Hammerham warship was but a tiny landing craft size for the ship of these giants. And they were told that with Fimez's destruction, the slaves would be sent back, that this group was going to get. So that means Boris's sister was said to be returned, and the 2 sisters that Aluna and Bjorn were looking for from their adventure. And they were also told about Cryus was the name of the Titan that was ill and sickly, which Finessa had seen in her vision, and that the Cryus had a ring missing its centerpiece, and after much deliberation, it was concluded that the Constellos egg was indeed the gemstone for the ring that Cryus would hope to use to further his goals, and that Finessa was being brought there by Fimez to heal Cryos, and also that Cryos was searching for one of his aspects that did not return when Cryos went through the transverse portal. The transverse portal was the door in the middle of the woods that the group had found, that when going through it, the giant boar, Super Tusk, changed into a bunch of tiny pigs, and when Boris went through it, he became a giant. So, Aluna and Bjorn went back from whence they came, and the group now can continue on, attempting to get to see Cryo so they can go back. They have their future in front of them to do with whatever it is they would like to do. So before we begin, as usual, if any player has any edits or additions they would like to make to the recap, or they need a clarification of something, now would be the time. So Daryl has his hand up.
I just wanted to mention that Bart had given Infante a few coins when he released Paco back to us.
That's correct. Clark has his hand up.
Paco would have gathered some clay before he left.
Well, let's see if Pikel, since we can't travel through time and we've already gotten to a whole nother part of the adventure.
Oh, mine. My brain card.
I will allow you to make an intelligence check, and if you make it, then you can have gathered clay with no issues.
All right, 19.
Total?
Plus 18.
Okay, so sure, you grab some clay. How much? Like a handful, or?
Make a small sculpture out of it.
So like probably like 4 pounds.
Yeah, be that much. Just needs me to have to make a little sculpture out of it.
Okay. I'll add that to your inventory.
All right.
Okay, and then Brad, you're on mute, which is fine, but you were holding up 3. I'm assuming that just meant 3 coins. Okay. All right. So with old business out of the way, I'm going to use the restroom because I either ate some bad food, or I caught the stomach bug that my son had, or something else. So I will be right back. If you wish to discuss something amongst yourselves, game or not game related, be my guest. Be my guest. Be my guest.
Many happy returns.
Did Darrow go? Well, I guess he's in and out. Hey, Green Man.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he was Chad.
Shadrach.
Chad's good enough.
Huh?
This Chad's good enough.
I didn't understand that.
Chad is fine.
Chad, do you have anything to keep this head from stinking?
You're the one who wanted to bring it.
It's not. It's. But I don't want to stink. How about you, Finesse? You got any magic to keep this head from start stinking?
Oh, probably. What do you feel you need that for?
Well, we're gonna have to make a pretty bold statement to maybe get these Raymond's on the right course.
I told him we're going back to mainland.
So if we want,
We have to convince them to go back.
we need something inside the problem for Caesar. And the Raymond today, and we gotta show we're just as bad as the people they are serving.
I don't think we need to see Caesar at this point.
No, we don't. We need to get the egg safe. Above and down
Yeah.
that thing.
But we gotta figure out what old Terminus is wanting to do. Senator Terminus, who's the captain of the ship.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him here in a minute.
Well, that's where the head comes to play.
I don't think we're gonna need it, but yeah. But it's so it can be, let's go overboard, nothing else.
Well, I think they'll be shitting their pants once it hits the table.
Yeah, if they don't believe that we actually after.
Who else would after?
Hmm? Say again?
So who else was?
Well, we just said that she was retired. We didn't actually tell them that, oh, we had a big fight and killed her.
And C was a better option.
Yeah. But now that we are on board,
I don't think
I was thinking about talking to Terminus.
Paco, Key steps forward. He says, "Isn't any one of you going to help Paco?" Oh, where's your magic now, huh? Where's
Finessa
your now, sister?
She's been tending Paco the whole time. Since we got back on the ship, we put him in the hammock.
And he points at Paco. He's like, "You say he's undead. Then I challenge you to prove he's undead. Do something.
Say we better
Help him."
Okay, well I'm going to DM for that
You
one.
already you didn't even care when he was lost. You said, "Well, too bad." Don't you remember that?
I hit by the same thing I got hit by. I didn't have much hope for him. Then the six-headed snake got a hold of him, and he could be part of the death cult. So
I'm concerned as well.
a little bit of
Then prove it.
in this situation.
You're the ones with the magic. Prove it.
We're trying. We're gonna.
I am kidding before we do anything on the rest of us.
He is alive.
Yeah,
Because
He's not,
I determined that much.
he's not undead.
well, the healing method
Doesn't.
so should be technically alive unless there's an oversight on the omnipotent Cobb.
Yeah, it's really done to his mind too.
Let me think about it as I scroll through this big old list of stuff.
Chad will cast a spell. I'm going to cast Detect Life.
Well, it's alive, but
Well, let's make sure because there's been some doubt apparently.
and we have to wait on the omnipotent.
Chad wants to know. Chad is gonna rely on his own faith to tell him if
Yes.
something is wrong or not.
Yeah, I've got Detect Living.
I'm gonna look up. Detect Life for me is a second level spell. Come on, PDF.
Level 1, I've got Detect Living. I don't know if that's... I was thinking more like a Detect Curse to see if they did something to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole pile of detect spells.
Yeah.
I'm thinking might help if something tomfoolery going on.
Come on here, PDF. Repeat the spell. All right. I will detect life. One creature.
We kind of want to wait on the DM there.
Yeah.
I can tell if a creature is alive. Well, that sounds pretty straightforward.
So you cast the spell?
Yeah, I'm casting Detect Life on Paco. By using this spell, I can tell if a creature is alive. Detects life in the subject of a feigned death spell or someone in a coma, death-like trance, or state of suspended animation. The spell works on plants and plant creatures as well as animals. Oh.
You what are the components of this spell?
It says verbal, it says all, but in the spell itself doesn't really give any kind of description, so I would assume that I would take some of the last of my mistletoe, hold it over Paco, wave it over him, like almost like you see the old priest like switching like that, and be like, is he alive? Is there life in this body?
I'm just looking for my own interest. I'm not.
Yeah, it doesn't say. A lot of them say, but this one just says common for priests of Oriental setting, uncommon for clerics or druids. So, you know, sometimes they say, sometimes they don't. So whenever I see something like that, I would just say, I would assume it's just the standard. I have to talk, I have to have some mistletoe, and I have to wave my hands around. So.
Well,
And it takes a whole round. So, yeah, I'll just do a little chant, walk around Paco, wave the mistletoe over him, and just to satisfy myself, to make sure he's actually breathing and blood is pumping and he's not some kind of animated thing.
you send out your mana. I'm getting an echo from somebody.
Probably.
And
When Clark was at your house, there was no echo at all.
that's great.
Point attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there an echo when I talk?
No.
Okay.
You send out your mana. You start to pull in all the senses, and you can detect life on this entity. So
I
yes,
kind of like to see it, yeah, like in the Dracula movie when he like looks at somebody and sees their blood pumping and hears the heart thumping and yeah. So, and Shad will step back and say, well, he is alive. I'm satisfied.
Let me take a look here.
If he's cursed,
To see-
you know what?
Brad, did you have your hand up? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I'm just Cassie telling me to go talk to Turtle.
Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
come to you next after. I think Daryl's doing something.
Yes, I'm gonna cast a spell.
Gold nugget. Oh.
I gotta get the book open here so I know what I need. Detect curse. Just so you know what I'm digging up here.
And Gee's looking at Pico like, well, what are you going to do? You accused him. What are you going to do about it?
I want to make sure that the Snake Man didn't do some sort of a curse or a charm. Of course, that's just another spell, but
These psionics. More of a like making.
Paco hasn't spoken yet, has he, since we brought him back?
He has
No.
not. He has remained unconscious.
Oh, okay. I thought he opened his eyes at one point, but okay.
Well, we can say that he did, but they're certainly not opened at this point.
Okay, that's fine. He's in bad shape, I get it.
That's the echo again.
It's like occasionally, like
well, I don't think I have what I need for detect curse.
Well, Shad will cast another spell when he can.
I need a gem, and I don't have any of those. I do have some cherry blossom.
Lieutenant Gem.
10 GP value.
I got you. I'll give you one. I'll give you two.
All right. Well, Finessa will take the round to run her hands up and down the body and feel heavenly blend, mighty healer of all that is holy. Tell me, show me. I want to be sure that the snakes haven't cursed Paco in some way with undeath or comatose. And she holds the gem in her palms and raises it up, blending the cherry blossom in around, wrapping it around the gem, and holds it up. Accept this offering, Almighty Cobb, and show me if there is a curse in place upon poor Paco.
You reach out with your power, with your mana.
My mighty moonstone.
A thought comes into Finessa's mind at that point, which is very, very disturbing. It's one of your holy tenets. The priesthood is devoted to healing and are not allowed by their order to turn away a patient in need. If they can help, they must. And your spell fails.
No patient has come to me that I've turned away. No one has sought my help. My tenets also say that I must be vigilant against all priests who represent death or disease, and try to stop their activities. And I'm not making that up. It's in the same. It's on the character sheet. Just so you know. They dislike the priests of death, disease, and evil. They may never take sentient life deliberately.
Is it kind of like in the Batman movie where the guy says, "You're gonna kill me"? He's like, "No, I just don't have to save you." Remember that with Ra's al Ghul?
All right. Well,
If you die, no, I'm just not going to save you.
But that's is what it is. I accept what you say. I'm just making my counterpoint. If the spell fails, then I will pray and absolve myself. This is disturbing.
I'll tell
I
you
cannot
what.
sense.
Make a religion. You have religion?
Yeah.
Make a straight wisdom check for me, please.
$34.
Okay.
thinking I'm not the echo.
Give me crack corn. I don't care.
You been crack whore. You don't care.
You realize that the spell didn't fail because of your inaction, your omission, your logical applications in choosing whether something lives or dies. It failed because there is, unless I totally forgot this, there is something in proximity that is foiling your spell attempt.
Ah, yes. I must deal with this. My magic is tainted. The sacred bundle that my mother carried is interfering. I must attempt to cleanse it and purify it or destroy it.
I need all of you, all of you, because you're all there, you're all taking part in the conversation, to make perception checks, please. And I will call for numbers. And we're just going to go around the screen. So we'll start with Pikel. Do you remember how to get a 30 out of a D10 and a D6? Pikel, you're on mute. I think Bart needs to. Go ahead and tell me what you got, Brad, before then you can go on mute.
20.
You rolled a D30 plus your intelligence? Hold on, Brad. D30 plus your intelligence. What's your total? Somebody's making noise. I can't hear anything.
48. 48? 38.
Oh, 38. Okay.
One beyond Kaddish.
Okay, and then we'll go to Guy. Guy. Uh-oh.
25.
25, okay. And then we go to Finessa.
16.
And then we go to Pikel.
Oh. Alright. I forgot how to get to 30, but it's 5
Okay.
on my D6 and a 6 on my 10.
Alright, so 1 to 2 is just the D10. 3 to 4, add 10. 5 to 6, add 20.
So 26 plus 18 is a couple few.
Okay,
So 34.
Shadrach
40.
and Boris.
19.
Okay. So Finessa is currently pondering what to do about this leftover relic of an evil creature. Boris has got his finger up his nose, thinking about his sister being safe and how he would like to, he's happy about that. Everyone else notices that there are all these weird little bumps that are all over Paco. They're like his skin is like, imagine if there was a goosebumps, but they're now all over his skin, and they're actually growing to the point where his skin is looking uneven and not necessarily rough, but bumpy, and they're small, but they're growing. And he kind of opens his mouth, and at that, I need all of you to make a saving throw versus paralyzation, please. Except for Finessa and Boris, who are surprised and do not get to save.
Oh.
So I will ask for success or failure. So we'll start with Bart. You're on mute, brother. A 10? And you needed, well, what? A 10? Okay. And then Pikel?
I rolled a 14 and I need like a 7, something like that, I think.
Okay, well, while you're checking, we'll go to Guy.
Guy succeeded. Oh, no, Guy failed. Shad succeeded.
Yeah, 7.
Okay, okay, so a scene that is straight out of a horror movie. These little bumps start to pop. And the sound is grotesque. Pop, 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 pop. And those of you that were in the corn maze recognize these as the Teosinte have risen from the inside of this living being, this incubator, and they have now made their way out, destroying the host and inflicting damage in a popcorn manner. Those of you that are showered with Teosinte oh my God. Everyone that makes their save takes 1 point of damage. Those of you that fail take 3 points of damage. But unfortunately, the host is nothing but a yellowish mixed with maybe it's blood, but probably not anymore. Sap. And the skin looks like it could be forming a husk, and that just happened.
Oh my gosh!
Well, I didn't see.
Initiative?
I mean, there's no combat involved, so if somebody wants to do something.
Alright, Shad is casting a spell.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything at this time?
So you say this? It's
Hold on,
Moving up
Jason.
less?
Hold on, Jason.
Sorry.
Does anyone else want to do anything at this time?
I'm moving away from him.
Okay. Go ahead, Daryl.
Finessa is going to excuse herself. I need to deal with this item and see what I can do. I'm going to go to my quarters. If you need me, that's where I'll be.
Shad,
And Boris.
what the hell are you doing?
I have to do something with this. I have to fix it. He's dead. Boris moves away from the corpse.
Those of you with the healing proficiency, it is obvious without rolling that this entity did not survive. Those of you without healing wouldn't notice the amount of and the type of damage that was done to it. Pikel, was there anything you wanted to do?
I was just saying, you guys take it. Let's give your night friend a burial at sea.
Okay, so Shadrach's casting a spell. What are you casting?
Detect evil, and I'm going to detect it in the area so that I can get the maximum effect. 10-foot path times 120 yards. Wow, that's the area of effect. Discovers emanations of evil from any creature, object, or area. I'm not worried about character alignment. I'm just worried about sources of evil. I'm looking for what is radiating the strongest source of evil within the spell's area of effect.
I would say that all of the hundreds of Teosente that are now starting to swarm on the floor and are looking for an escape probably from this room would be all of the evil that you would be able to detect at this time.
And it will last for 1 turn plus half a turn per level. So I would guess that it will last for 5 turns.
Okay.
I guess.
So if I move around and look,
well, we got to get to Brad. You had your hand up. What's up?
Well,
Nothing. Okay. Finessa, you still exit the room?
Yes.
Okay, when you open the door, a bunch of the Teosente go flying out.
Ah! Well, you said there was no combat, so I mean, I thought they all just kind of came out and popped us and they were gone. But no, okay.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go back. So, let's go for actions. You don't know what they're gonna do. So at the moment, they just burst out and do the damage. So
there are hundreds of these Teosente on the floor.
bopping all around the room.
Okay. You made it sound like that was the end of it. That he popped and then that was it. Okay.
So would Finessa like to do anything?
Get out of the small room.
Yes. Perry.
Okay. Bart, anything?
You gotta exit the room.
I'm sorry?
Try to exit the room.
So you're just gonna move, okay?
Yeah.
Michael?
Clapping with my axe.
Okay. Boris, Guy, any actions?
he's attacking these creatures on the floor.
Okay. Is that everybody?
I guess and Chad cast his detect evil. That's what happened.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So the Teosente are just hopping around all over like a bunch of fleas. All these little seedlings with little arms and legs. So, go ahead and roll attacks, Boris and Guy. Who's going first? And Michael?
I have spears and sticks.
Guy, what'd you get?
At an armor class of 8.
8? That's good enough. You hit it. You don't even have to roll damage. These are minions. One hit and they go.
Well, I'm doing it. I'm spearing them with my bastard sword.
Sure. Okay. Boris?
That hits. -4.
You kill one. Michael?
I had AC 0, so that shouldn't do it.
That's a hit.
No.
All right.
I was using the flat to hopefully catch more than one. But
Okay. Unfortunately, that's not. You hit one and you kill it.
alright.
Bart, it's your turn. You exit the room. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm moving in the door.
Okay. So with their ready to action, when you open the door, about 50 of them fly out the door. All of you can take an attacks of opportunity if you'd like on one as they try to flee. So let's start with Michael. Let's start with Michael.
AC 6.
That's a hit. You kill one. Guy.
He will roll the hit. Sure. Armor class of 1.
That's a hit. You kill one. Boris.
I hit a 2.
That's a hit. You kill one. Bart, you want to try and
Yeah.
step on one? Go ahead and step on it. Roll your melee attack.
15.
That'd be on the left of your sheet, melee Thaco, if you got your sheet there.
13. I got it. I rolled 13, so I hit 0, right?
All right, so you step on one, it crunches under your foot. All right, and then Shadrach, you want to...
Chad is preparing to cast a spell.
Well, you can still take a free attack if you'd like with a boot or something.
He doesn't feel it's necessary.
Okay. All right, so you guys kill like 8 of them, and it's like trying to hold water back with a series of logs in a stream that aren't watertight. They're these tiny things about 2 inches tall, and they're like faceless. They look like I guess they're seeds of corn, although I don't think you call them seeds, but anyway.
Colonel.
Kernel, thank you. That's the word. And they apparently have something else on their little tiny brains that they want to accomplish. They're not sticking around. So they move on out the door. There's still like 20 that are left behind, but there's probably 50, 60 that got out. So, Bragg, you can go out the door, and where would you like to go?
I'm following them to where they're going.
Okay, sure. Okay, so now we can go to the next round, and we'll go for actions, and we'll start with Finessa.
Follow.
And G.
I'm gonna keep killing the things in the room.
Okay, Michael.
I'm gonna attack, but I'm also gonna yell at Shadrach. These things probably gonna set the damn ship on fire.
Shadrach's eyes are rolled up in his head right now.
Okay, Boris.
Attack.
All right, so Bart's gonna...
I hate these corns.
All right. Roll, well, you know, we don't even really roll initiative. Bart is following these things. I'm coming to take all your money. And they're just going up. They head towards pretty much anything that they can find. And they like grow by a size, not up to from tiny to small, but from tiniest to tiny. So now it's like 4 inches tall, and it looks like the size of a large apple with little tiny legs and arms, and still no face. And they appear to be just going in random directions wherever these fucking infestation thing can go. They're going. All right, so Brad, what would you like? Bart, what would you like to do, if anything? They're like all over the fucking place. Imagine if you had a bucket full of ball bearings, and you just took them and dumped them down the steps. It's like, try to corral these motherfuckers. Okay. So what are you gonna do?
I'm going to talk to the captain.
You're gonna go look for the captain of the ship?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Do you do or have any ability or cast a spell or any proficiency which could allow you to find the captain any quicker than just running around and looking?
I'm going to the helm, basically. Go up the bridge, whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay. So from the bottom of the ship, it's going to take at least a round to get up to the top, maybe 2 rounds, depending on how things are clogged or if they're wide open. Okay. So, Finessa, you're going to follow them out, and you can see what I described. They have decided that they are going to just randomly go.
And they're just spreading out and running all over.
Yeah, so it's not like they all have some kind of weird concerted effort to go up the steps. There's like they're coming over to the boxes. Can you see this? Or no, you probably can't.
I'm looking at you at the moment.
Okay, let me.
She also begins to shout out, "Alert! Alert!"
I cast on 6.
Okay. So.
Help!
So this is where you guys are. Or no, here it is. This is the lowest level. So there's like all these crates and supplies, and there's one set of stairs that goes up. And yes, there's some that go up there, but more of them actually just go where there's space. So Bart, you followed them up the steps, whoop, whoop, which then would put you like here. And then let's see, if you go up, which means you would come up here, and then you would go whoop, or is that wrong? It doesn't matter. Okay, and then, so theoretically you could get up to the third deck where the mess hall is before that would, on that phase anyway. And by then, there's only like 1 or 2 that have actually made it up that far ahead of you. They seem to not be as fast as you in a full run. Okay, so let's put out some figs here. We got figs. Let's put some figs out. So, if I remember correctly, Paco was over here. So at first, everybody started off there, and then the Teosinte exploded, and it's like, ah, and then Bart was like, oh shit, and they were like, aha, and they boop, 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 boop. And so you went up there, and then Finessa was following, boom, 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 and she can get up to right there, and then she's like a couple squares behind. And then we got...
My quarters are on that second deck, right?
Huh?
The quarters, Fimez quarters?
They're on the lowest deck over here.
Oh, okay.
Is that where you were wanting to go?
No.
Okay. So did you want to follow... Well, I guess I shouldn't assume you were going up. You said you were following them out. So where would you like to go? I guess you can tell me.
How about to Terminus quarters?
So you're not exactly sure where Terminus quarters are. Do you have...
It was on the next deck up. But I don't know that. And I do not have any special abilities. I'm not casting a spell.
All right. So you're going to probably go up and look for him, I'm assuming?
I'll go up to the next deck, and I'll stop at I'll get out of the way of the stairs, and then look around to see if I see guards at the door, or his entourage, or any of the Acharangans there.
Okay. So maybe...
Covidius, perhaps.
Maybe a perception check, please.
Woo, that's a good one. 36.
Not Daryl. Daryl don't have good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually rolled a good score.
Okay, so you look around, and as luck would have it, you see this door here is open, and when you look in, you can see soldiers, but no Terminus. And as you look this way, you just see other soldiers kind of poking their heads out, looking and going, oh god, like, what the fuck is happening? So,
alert!
So Boris and Guy was attacking. I think Boris was attacking. Shadrach was casting. So, and Python. Okay, so Boris, roll attack, please.
Armor class 4.
All right, you kill one.
What? Oh, I left
And G, roll attack.
Is Guy there?
Uh-oh, G's frozen.
I'm here. I rolled armor class -2.
All right, you slash one. And Pyko, roll attack.
Armor class 5.
That's a hit. Okay, so far you've you killed 10 of these things. Okay, so they're gonna attack you guys. So let's go with on Pyko. Well, we got a definite miss, hits an armor class of 13, but then we got a natural 20, which explodes, which is a nothing. So you take 1 point of damage from the Teosinte. It hops on your cheek and it feels like a bite, and you're like, ow! Even though it has no mouth that you can see. All right, Gee. Armor class of 1.
Minus my shield, I have to check. Let me check. I'm armored, I just don't have my shield. So, -5, -6, -7. So yeah, they hit me. I'm armor class 3 right now.
So one missed, by the way, but the other one bit you for a point of damage on your left hand. Ow! And Boris, armor class of 7.
Missed.
All right, and the other one was worse. And then good old Shadrach. Armor class of 8.
Miss.
All right, that's all their attacks. Okay. So
Spell goes off?
Shadrach's spell goes off.
Well, have fun with this. I'm casting Speed Rot. I reach into my bag, pull out what just looks like a clump of nasty black rot, and if Pikel was watching me while he was saying something, with my eyes rolled up into my head, I just take this rot, this mold, and snort it up in my nose and be like, I remember you before, and you'll die again. Bring the darkness upon these evil seeds. All plant creatures within 900 cubic feet take 9d6 points of damage.
All right. Well, I would think, unless you want to roll it just for fun, you don't have to. However, and you read that description again. All plant life.
Okay, here we go. It has no effect on any meat of any kind. Plants and plant-based creatures within the area of effect suffer 1d6 points of damage per level of the caster to a maximum of 10. The caster can affect as much as 100 cubic feet of plant material per level. So basically I just spread this wave of destructive rot, plant rot, out all around the ship. And just because that was my plan in the first place, was just like, I remembered what happened in the cornfield before, and I did it again centered on myself. So.
All right, so I'm going to allow you to determine whether that would affect the stores of grain on the ship.
Okay, let me read this again. Fruits, vegetables, and grain, yes, the grain has all been destroyed.
Oh, no. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, so... Okay.
Bummer.
So, well, still, you hear all the Teosintes And as Bart and Finessa are looking around, they see this wave of, not a wave of darkness, but they can see in order the Teosinte turn brown and then black and fall away. And I think they have seen that effect before. So
she recognizes it.
They would probably know what happened. Maybe not necessarily who cast it, but something. And that pretty much takes care of. And if I remember correctly, doesn't everything like rot away and just turn to dust?
It turns
Let's see here. Yeah. Putrid slime.
Oh no. Okay. Where Bart is, he looks, and a foul stench and this weird ooze starts to like seep over the wood of the planking of the deck, coming from sacks and other things, and some of the sailors are freaking the fuck out. They think that this must be some kind of attack or plague, and they see the Teosinte go away, and then they see and they're freaked the fuck out. So I would like Bart to make me a charisma check, please.
Well, D20?
A D20 and add your charisma, please.
21.
All right, Bart is getting the suspicious looks from the crew, but they didn't see you do anything. So, what the fuck's going on? The shouts of crew members are now starting to emanate and echo throughout the hull and the decks of the ship as the incredible power of the rot has caused a bit of a consternation. And that is the end of the round.
Casting tongues.
What'd you say, Brad?
Who casting tongues is going to wrong?
Okay. How long does tongues last, do you know?
It'll be at least, hold on. One round per level. Working out.
There we go. Okay. So you cast a spell and something shatters in your hand. And the spell enables the caster to be understood by all creatures of that type within... the spell enables a wizard to speak and understand additional languages, whether they are racial tongues or regional dialects. The spell enables the caster to be understood by all creatures of that type. Wizard can speak one additional tongue for every 3 levels. Okay, so what are the languages that you're choosing to understand?
Hammerham.
I didn't understand that.
Hammerham.
Anything else?
Everybody that likes the cruise stand. Yeah, trying to find the captain. So you ask around.
All right. What's Finessa doing?
She was realizing that the spell has destroyed these creatures. She will head back downstairs. She says, "Oh, never mind.
Okay. Gee, anything?
He is just looking around like, what the hell just happened?
Boris, anything?
I hate these cob corns.
Chad says they will not return.
Michael, anything from you?
You?
I would just give the "I told you so" kind of look in his face.
He did tell us so.
All right, so the 4 people that are down in the room, if you want to have any kind of discussion, you can, or we can move over to Bart. Finessa, you're on your way back downstairs. All right? No?
That we should do something with Paco. We
What?
gotta wrap him up.
Before one of them shots people.
I'll start. Do I have a piece of rope? I don't think I have a.
He says,
don't
get away.
a rope.
I'll handle this. This is my responsibility. All right,
Let me know when you're ready.
let's do it.
So what are you doing?
Damn it, Paco. Is there some like tarp or any kind of stuff like that laying around? In fact, I'll use my personal blanket and
Then
try
I
to
can
just,
hammock.
yeah, we'll just wrap him up in the hammock with I'll use my blanket to make like a little mummy out of him, I guess, whatever's left of him. And take it up on deck, and Boris can tie it up with his rope, and we'll take it up on deck and throw it in the water. Damn it, Paco.
So you start that, and as you are untying one of the hammocks, Finessa, you said you were going back below. Finessa, where are you going?
To my quarters. To Fimez former quarters.
All right. And what are you doing there?
I'm going to cast a spell, but I'll let you know when I figure out what it is.
Okay. All right, so Bart, you go up and you start asking around, and you are told where Terminus stays, and there are guards there, and they say, "What's your business?"
We need to speak to Terminus.
I'll see if he's available.
What do you think, please?
All right. Eventually, you are escorted in through these double doors here, and you are taken back through this area here. Knock on the door, and you hear, "Come in," and the guard opens the door, and then the guard walks in, and you hear Terminus say, "It's all right. You can leave us alone. If the prince wanted me dead, he could have killed me many times over." And then he says, "Have a seat. Would
I
you,
sit down.
he comes over and he joins you at this little table here. He gets up from his desk. I don't know if you can see this map, but it's got like a little desk there where he's working on shit, and then there's a table here.
Yeah,
He
I
says,
tell him we need to go see Caesar. We need to make it back to the mainland. Unless we have different orders. In which case we will barter boat our own way.
well, we were hired by Caesar to do his bidding, and his particular order for this mission was to escort Fimez, be at her disposal. I don't suppose you would care to fill me in on what happened to Fimez on that island. And he kind of leans back and makes himself comfortable, pours himself a drink, and then he pours another one for you and slides it across the table kind of flippantly.
Okay.
It smells like a very nice bourbon.
What?
And he says, "You know where this drink comes from?
Huh?
Do you know where this drink comes from?
No.
This comes from my home vineyards back in Nilatela. This is the capital city of the Acariman Empire. I have probably 200 to 300 acres of vineyards, fruit trees, and enough slaves to make sure everything is taken care of. We Acaramans, we conquered all the surrounding kingdoms or clans or whatever it is that you call them over here. And those that joined willingly were given a better station. Those that fought us, well, they had to learn their place. I've come to find out that the people that we have taken from your land are sometimes need to be shown the proper respect for their conquerors. But this particular brand, this particular cask, if you will, it's from about 20 years ago. My father had that villa, and it was given to him by the emperor. And now it's mine. And I often break it out only on special occasions. So I'm willing to give you some more of this if you tell me exactly how you got rid of Fimez.
Fireball in his face.
Is that all it took?
Oh, I think a little more than that, but it's quite the fight.
And was that your doing? Were you the one that took out Fimez?
I started it off. I wasn't the final blow.
And I might already know the answer to this question, but I'll go ahead and ask. And why would you go ahead and kill her now? What
Opportunity.
So you saw a moment of weakness and you took advantage.
Yes.
impressive. You know, Fimez has not been one of our associates for a very long time. The Giants really aren't either, but they were the deal that we entered into was mutually beneficial.
I understand that. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't like being impressed by anyone, so Finesse had to go.
So, will you do the same to us when we return and if we need more slaves?
Well, we don't believe in slavery, so yeah, most likely. I give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, no, don't. Let's not be dishonest with each other.
I mean, you got a problem? What the fuck?
Let's not be dishonest with each other, Prince. Our empire needs labor.
Get it from somewhere else?
And the people that live here that we've encountered are very ill prepared, and they don't seem to be set up to withstand a united assault by a very determined enemy. In other words, they're easy pickings for our armies.
I guess. No. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
No, I had a phone call too at the same time.
Oh,
Gotta take care of it now.
go ahead. Well, go ahead. Go ahead and drop out, and we'll come back to you then.
Alright.
So, as Guy is wrapping up, or attempting to wrap Paco up in a hammock, it's not even really close to a burial shroud, and it seems rather insulting to wrap him up in such a thing, but that's what you do. And as you wrap him up and you think to yourself, you're on mute just so you know.
Yeah, he is not happy. It's obvious.
As you look down at Paco's corpse, you wonder when did it all go wrong? What was the moment that Paco was left unprotected? When was the moment that someone set up Paco to fail? All these thoughts are racing through your mind.
Oh yeah.
Was it strategic failure on your team? Was it just an unlucky break? That happens in the fog of war. People are in the wrong place at the wrong time. Any one of these possibilities could be true. Unfortunately, you didn't see it. You don't have any idea what happened.
No.
But you know that your friend is no longer with you. And it's unfortunate because he so looked up to you.
I know he did.
And he wanted
He
to
was
be
a family member practically.
He wanted to be a knight so badly. And it was a long shot at best. But the journey yields its own rewards. And for him to have received the reward of a cruel and most likely very painful death doesn't seem fair.
No.
And as you finish wrapping up the corpse, you pick him up and you start to trudge
Yep. There's tears in Guy's eyes,
up and out.
but he's also looking like he could like chew wood.
So you proceed to carry him up, and like you said, you were taking him to the top deck?
Yep. Carry him just like
And what?
as gently
Boris
as you can.
goes with.
Boris goes with him? What about Pikel?
Michael help out.
Okay, so the three of you now are up on the
Shad's
top
going up
deck.
there too.
And Shad, okay. And you have Paco with you. What do you do when you get up to the top deck?
I go towards the back of the ship where it's wide and open.
So-
The-
You will go up the steps, and then you will go up
Yes.
these steps, which takes you to the very back, where the steering is, the wheel, and there's somebody there who has the wheel, but they're not really doing anything strenuous or strategic. It's just kind of more like a position of like honor to be able to be allowed to steer. This is like the second. The ship's man, or whatever that title is for the
yeah,
second in
getting
command.
to steer the boat's an important position. Yeah.
And what do you do when you get up there?
Guy will. Where Finessa's nowhere around.
She is not.
All right. Guy will kind of look at Shad and look at the rest of them. Be like, well, Paco was a loyal servant, a good man. He stayed with us, and Boris knows he stayed with us through some crazy shit. And all we can do now is consign what is left of him to this ocean, to this water upon which we have all found our fates and perhaps our destinies. He says, Green Man, can't you say something over him? And Shad will hold his hand out, and in his druidic language, which nobody will understand, he will offer Paco's spirit just...
Hold on.
It's not dead.
Hold on. I don't mean to wreck your train because you're doing great, but this is just a interesting thing. In the Druid's Handbook, it talks about what the Druid can't. I don't know if you've ever read it, but the Druid can't isn't necessarily a whole different language, but it's a way of speaking that gets the point across in elementary terms, like, and then it's like a lot of metaphoric symbology in the.
Yes, I kind of think of it as Latin. If I would speak it myself, I would be like speaking Latin. But yeah, there was a Star Trek episode like that where they spoke in metaphors. Yes.
So like instead of saying, Paco was a dear friend and companion, you would say the second of the night was cruelly taken from us by, that kind of thing. It would take some practice to get into it. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, it's very, I can see it being very alliterative.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Anyway,
in that case,
go ahead.
You would hear Shad say, let Paco now join the great ocean of life, from which he will ultimately return. And I will touch him, I'll touch the bundle, and give my blessing and nod. And Guy will lift him up, and throw him in the water. Don't do that.
Now,
Don't do that.
as the dungeon master, I will put in a footnote here because none of you, I think all of you as players probably know that he was hit by a mountain giant.
Yeah.
So though you didn't see what happened when he flew off the back of the ramp, it's safe to assume that he was probably like in the negatives already when he hit the ground, and that possibly the snake thing probably like got to him before he expired and extended his life so he could be an incubator for some type of thing. So anyway, in my mind it was really cool because that's just the way it worked out. Nobody saw it, but what good is it if it's in my mind and I can't share it? So I'm breaking the
I thought it was cool too.
I'm breaking the fourth.
It didn't benefit us, but it was cool.
I'm breaking the
He
fourth
didn't want to see
wall
that.
and
He held out hope. Yeah.
giving you an explanation what happened. So anyway, so
He held out hope. Shad wasn't sure. And then with the moment he figured it out, he was like, oh, damn it. But there we are. And as I said, Guy will lift up Paco's remains above his head and hurl him into the ocean.
I would like Guy to roll me a charisma check, please.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's a shark.
Oh, dear. I rolled a 20. A natural 20.
Explode.
And a 25 after that. If
No.
I'm adding my charisma.
Now, hold on.
20.
You rolled a 20. Then what'd you get for your second roll?
A 10.
So that's 30. And then add your charisma.
So 45.
Okay. Something happens when Paco goes down into the water. Now I need everyone that's up on the top there to roll perception checks, which means Guy, Pikel, Boris, and Shadrach. And you're rolling a d30, adding your intelligence, and you're going to tell me the number, and we're going to start with Pikel.
What do you say if I roll a 5 or a 6?
That's add 20.
Alright, so 25 plus 18.
Okay. Boris,
25.
Guy,
I rolled a 1.
okay. Shadrach,
29.
okay. Pikel, for some reason you peer over the edge. You raise yourself up, you kind of, your little dwarf hands pull yourself up on the rail. Because your fat head's too wide to fit through the banister or whatever those poles are called.
I want to try it first, though.
And you look and you swear you see something swim and carry the corpse away back down into the depths. But you're not sure because it looked like a watery person or a person made of water. That's all the information I can give you.
Guy is just like overwrought. He's just horrified.
Guy's turned the other way and is kind of
Slumped away,
slumped
covering
down.
his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you all do now that you've did the burial at sea?
Well, it's too bad that Finessa wasn't here, and too bad that Bart wasn't here, but Shad will stay on deck. Guy will go below.
Boris does too.
Guy's going to go below and mope in the room.
Okay. What about you, Pikel?
Ask you to go back to the room for now.
So Pikel and Guy go back to the room. Is that right?
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that. All right, so let's go to Daryl because he had his hand up. So maybe Finessa has found the spell she wants to cast.
Yeah, I'm going to try to cast Dispel Magic on the bundle.
All right. Please go ahead.
She takes out her holy symbol. She puts the bundle in her, the brass censer, the bronze censer that she carries in her pack. She puts it on the table, places the bundle within it. Heavenly blend, she moves her hands in a circular motion and then crisscrosses them to form the helical symbol. Take away the evil magic that taints this relic. Let it be cleansed. And the casting time is 6. It's on page 211 if you care to.
No, I'm actually familiar with this spell, so...
I haven't really read through it all yet, so I'm hoping it does something good.
Well, here's what you're doing. You're attempting to dispel...
It has a chance to remove spell-like effects
and
from objects.
What we do
that
is
can disrupt casting.
you need to roll a d20, and the thing is, let's say you're dispelling something that it was made by somebody lower level than you, then the difference would be added to your d20 roll, thusly making it easier for you to dispel it. But if you're dispelling something, yes. So, because of your excellent role-playing, you may roll your d20 with advantage, but I also need, at the same time, I need you to roll a... Do you have spellcraft?
No.
No. Okay.
Religion.
All right. Well, then let the chips fall where they may. I need you to roll a d20, please.
15.
And your other roll?
6.
Okay, so 15 was your best roll. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's... Okay, so you cast the spell. The mana starts to flow through you. And as with spells that you cast, you feel the power of your faith. And you realize that this magical item is more powerful than the magic that you currently can conjure. But you also detect something very intriguing about the bundle, and you feel as though when you tried to dispel the magic on your mother's sacred bundle, that it had an effect on your bundle. And that is the only way I can say that without some other means of obtaining other information. I can't give you any more information than that, unfortunately.
I get it. I feel the connection.
Your bundle's been dumped.
It's mostly Travis. Cat dollars.
That mostly dumpy bundle.
The only thing I can say is I am going right off of his character's backstory. So if, obviously I would guess Daryl knows what's happening. Or at least
I'm just trying to write it all down while it's fresh in my head.
He's in the ballpark, obviously, at the least. So, I don't want this to come off like, well, that don't make no sense. Well, yeah, where did everything come from? Oh, okay. So we go to Bart now, and Bart is in conversation with Terminus, and he says, "So, I'm impressed. You and your group. Apparently, Fimez was not wrong in thinking that you all were a powerful group. So, what brings you here today?"
I need to get back to mainland with my group. I don't need to see Caesar. I wish not to see Caesar actually.
You're probably not used to not getting what you want.
Oh, I'll get what I want one way or another. You turn the boat around, or I sink the boat and I take my party with me.
And what?
So I'm sure they're not used to hearing words like that.
What?
They're used to it.
I understand that you're powerful and you took out one of the witch's coven.
Yeah. So? We got one, did you get the others?
You should probably have a long conversation with your druid friend about that. See, the fact that you can come and go as you see fit, luckily Fimez gave me that information while you were gone for those few days. It allowed her to cast some spells of her own, and though she was a bitch, she gave me some very succinct and pertinent information about you.
What's that?
Oh no, you can ask that all you want, but unless you can read minds, I think I'll keep that.
Can.
Well then, tell me, oh great prince.
ESP. I cast ESP.
Okay.
Oh.
So you start casting a spell.
Yep. But other than Harville, he told me to book it from Stone to. I can read mine, so I gotta cast a spell to do so.
All right. What is the casting time?
I'll
I'll look it up.
It's 2 because it's the second level spell. 2.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So you cast. What is the? So as you cast, he kind of raises his eyebrows. He does not move to interrupt you,
Okay.
and then he gets a saving throw.
None. It says none.
Well, it says
Savings or none.
if used as a part of a program of interrogation, an intelligent and wary subject receives an initial saving throw.
Oh, okay, I see.
If the saving throw has failed, the caster may learn additional information according to the DM's rule.
Okay.
So, you rolled a 15, which is a success. A 15 before being modified. So, as if you are booted out, it's like you're getting ready to walk into this person's mind, and an Acaraman shield comes up and kind of plunks your intelligence out. And he looks and he looks at you and he says, "So, that was very rude of you."
I was just reading your mind like you told me to.
So you're very literal.
Is there any other way to be?
Yes, most certainly. First of all, I need to know what all of the yelling was on the ship earlier.
One of our crew members was tainted by giant snake people, and they caused us some little creatures to pop out of him and cause havoc on the ship. I'm sure pretty much all your grain stores are gone now, but hey, whatever.
So I guess we're going to need to stop and resupply because we can't make it back to land with no food.
Oh, I'd say so.
So I
But
guess
you're going to test it, take care of.
unless you and your powerful magical ways can provide food for a crew of 300.
Why would I help you? I'm basically a prisoner, right?
I think that you can come and go as you see fit. I think it's others that don't have your abilities that are stuck here.
Well, I don't think they're stuck here either. Because what year we got now, I can move the entire group, my group, right off your ship. I was just trying to be kind and give you a chance to fucking work with us. And since you don't want to, we'll do our own thing. But I don't need GOC Caesar.
So you're coming to let me know that you
We're
and
leaving.
you and your friends are leaving.
Yes.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you. I'll be able to use that to my advantage whenever I report back to Caesar on what's transpired here. And
Sure.
you should be aware that Caesar does not take kindly to failure.
You gotta speak to a fucking dragon that I know, and this will all be taken care of.
Roll me a charisma check.
D30 or 20?
D20, add your charisma.
18 plus 13.
All right. He says,
So I think the only one being punished here would be you, like, said Caesar, dude, but whatever, man.
he says, well, I'm certainly glad that you took the time to tell me. I guess I should prepare for my report. You know, there are other giants besides Caesar.
I'm not worried about giants. They fall just hard. They fall harder than the regular man does. Actually, they fall a lot harder than normal man does, but it's more fun to listen to them hit the ground.
Before you leave, even though I think I know what the answer is going to be, I have to ask. Would you like to turn over the coins of the Caesarium before you leave?
Fuck no! You're going to...
Very well. Well, good.
That's where they were originally supposed to go anyways.
Good luck to you. I don't know if we'll meet again, but if we do, I'm sure that I wouldn't mind sharing another drink with you.
Mm-hmm.
I normally don't sully my hands with the combat and that. That's why we have trained soldiers for that.
Well, I don't plan on combating nobody. I'm involved right now.
The battlefield is no place for a senator.
You agree. Sometimes hands-on is better than not knowing.
He
People are
gets,
solid. I bid you a good day.
and you exit the room, and where do you go?
I go back to the quarters, talk to everybody, let them know what's going on.
Okay. So, Jason, you had your hand up, or were you just being animated?
If anything, Shad, when he stays on deck, I'm gonna shape change and fly as a crow up to the top of the crow's nest and stay there. I won't interfere with whoever's up there.
Okay.
Except I promoted that once.
Okay, well, there is a guy up there, but he doesn't seem too concerned. Although, let's let the dice decide. Make a charisma check, please.
They'll say, I don't do anything provocative, I just land and make me go, rah. I rolled a 19, so...
All right. Yeah, that's plenty good. He doesn't seem too concerned. He just kind of looks at you and is like, what the fuck? Yeah. Okay. So, Finessa is in her quarters, and Guy and...
I
Oh,
go.
Daryl, you're frozen.
She is gonna go up to above deck, looking for the others.
Okay, so as she comes out of her quarters, she, well, let's see. What are Guy and Pikel, when you guys return to the room, Guy said you were going to kind of, just kind of sit and contemplate, and, or is there, what else is going on there?
Guy goes back to quarters, gets out his bastard sword and starts sharpening it. And he's got tears on his face, and he's sharpening his bastard sword.
Okay. Anything I need to know from you, Pikel?
No. Michael will just go to his, wherever he was sitting there sleeping and chill out.
So Pikel's in the room with
No,
Guy?
he would be in the other room.
Okay.
So after Shadrach flies away, what does Boris do? He's kind of left there hanging by himself.
He's sad, thinking about Paco. He's thinking about his sister and hoping that the giant people weren't lying. He needs to find out. I need to know if she's safe. He's just contemplating on deck, enjoying the fresh air.
All right. So then, as Bart is descending the steps, he sees, or hears the door open, and he sees Finessa come out of the quarters there, and they can interact or not.
Bart, what's happening? Say again?
He's not turning the boat around. He's chasing us to Chrono. Or to Caesar. So,
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
prepare your stuff. We're all going to teleport the fuck out of here to the fucking mainland. Probably go back to the Abbey or whatever.
Oh yeah, you hit your mark there.
Get ready. We need me on deck.
Okay. I gather all my things.
I go down to the room and tell Pikel and gather my things.
Yeah, we better get the heck out of here.
Quickly.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you.
Guy looks at Pikel.
Hold on.
Points his finger at it.
You'd have to, well, this is just me being a nerd. You step out of the room there, and Pikel and Bart and Finessa are all there. All right, go ahead, Guy.
Guy is gonna looking for Pikel.
Yeah, he's
He
there.
steps out. He's like, you. What, you don't want to mock me now? You were right. You don't want to mock me now? Shorty?
Bart!
What?
Calm down. Finessa puts her hand out and steps between them. Calm down, Guy. We need to gather our things.
We need to go.
He holds up his sword. He says, I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Where's
And I move up. I'm looking for him.
Where's
I
the
was just
green
heading to
man?
find him. Probably outside,
All right,
but
so
he wasn't in any of your rooms, right?
is he still down here, or is he got his before?
as you guys are heading up the steps, I need all of you to make charisma checks, please.
Does this include Shad?
No.
He's not going up the steps.
All right.
30? Or 20?
D20 plus your charisma.
Oh, fuck yeah. 17 plus 16.
So, Boris,
26.
Shadrach, no. Finessa,
She's, I didn't roll. Let me do that right now. Oh, 11.
Yi,
26.
Heichel,
16. You don't have to outrun the bear, just have to outrun the slowest guy.
and Bart.
30.
Okay, that was close. That was a group check. The soldiers are still unsure and unwilling to just make any fuss about what happened to their food. And you get up on deck and you can see Boris is up on the back hanging out, but you don't see Shadrach anywhere. However, Shad, you look down and you can see all your companions are collecting on the top deck.
Does he look agitated?
One at a time. Who's speaking? Jason.
Do they look agitated?
From your view, no. But you're looking straight down at him, so it's...
I'll fly down and land on Finessa's shoulder.
All right. Finessa, you see that crow with the identifying mark of Shadrach on it, and it lands there.
Nope. She gives it a pat.
She'll nibble her ear.
Okay.
I pull out a scroll. I'm really sure, right?
Boris moves to the group.
Come on!
Okay, everybody hold hands. Start saying, Kumbaya. I can't stop over there. The scroll. My last one.
All right, and where do you go?
Going to the Abbey. Going to the Abbey. We got a wizard mark down the
Yeah.
the secret room.
That's correct. Okay.
I'm going to that.
You guys get that feeling like everything goes white and then bam! You are in darkness.
Darkness. Light. See how light comes on.
Shadrach will produce his flashlight.
I go to the door.
Oh, dang it. That's true. I will shapeshift back to human form when I can.
It seemed easier this time, right? We're missing somebody.
You can do that now if you want.
Fuck!
Sorry, too soon?
Well, if I turn back to human form, I'll pull out my flashlight that was made for me.
Holy light of the blend.
I don't know what that happened.
Nice.
Did Finessa make that for you?
Yes.
I have no memory of that, but
Shad,
I'll
5 to
take your
7.
word for it.
Oh yes, that was quite
Oh,
a
you
while
don't remember
back.
me making that?
Yeah, but
I rolled awesome.
I remember you making it for you, but I don't remember you giving it to him.
Oh no, she gave it to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a special gift.
Don't
Yes.
say it like that. That's dirty.
When I cast the Holy Guardian spell on him.
It was a special gift.
Okay. All right, so there you are. And nothing is
Shad doesn't see in the dark unless he has to make a special effort to do so.
nothing
So,
is
yeah,
nothing
that's why
is
she gave it to
different
him.
about the room than what you would think. So
It looks familiar.
yeah,
The entrance is that way, but it's closed up.
I'll point the light towards the way out that I think is the way out.
I go to a secret door and I trip it. And
All
then
right.
I didn't show that. Open the door.
I want to thank you all for helping me. I was afraid of Mother, and I couldn't do anything about it. Thank you all for not abandoning me.
Shad, but just not even looking, while pointing the light ahead, will reach back and touch your hand and grab it.
Now, what's the plan?
Let's get out into the light and the air.
I'm disgusted. Didn't
Come on.
Yeah. I want you to check scrying.
Can't you open this door?
You guys have to do that.
Say what?
Check scrying.
Wow.
We need to find out.
There's no scrying in D&D, man.
I think it's the first one.
Eat a peach, man. Wow. Woo.
all right. So
I don't know if I have
where do you
that.
guys go?
I don't
do you,
believe I do.
you hang out downstairs in the dungeon, or do you go somewhere else?
I'm just discussing this as we're walking up.
Well, can you get the door out of here?
I
Shad's
did.
like, okay, well, let's get out of here.
I said 3 times to go over the door and open it. You have to roll anything?
No.
Yeah.
We move to the sunlight.
These poor monks. Blah!
Great.
Meanwhile, from the crypt,
Okay. As you guys are coming up the steps,
Gabby's blood.
some of you may remember that if you have any weapons, you're going to get the shit shocked out of you.
Porky,
Oh no.
Oh no.
Porky's gonna get shocked.
So, as a quick reminder, those of you that have any weapons, and I mean any, you take 6 points of damage. And
Even stowed away.
Fair enough.
Anything on your person, whether the only way it wouldn't work is if you have, and you can't put sharp objects in a bag of holding, so yeah, it's a thing. This is a place of healing only, and anything that can cause damage is not allowed.
We must get outside quickly.
Ow! Yep, even Shad keeps his scimitar, but it's like, ah! Yeah, it's painful. Ow! Ah!
This
So
this Black Rock Monastery.
just so you're aware, the idea is you can't go past areas that are stopped by these wardings and glyphs and spells. So you can't. It's not like a dog fence where you just run through and I take damage. It's like you will continuously take damage and not pass through if you have weapons.
Oh. Well,
So-
Get in, but can we get out at this point?
If you leave your weapons behind,
oh man.
Oops. I'll wait till morning I can cast it again.
none of this should be a surprise for those of you that have been here before or lived here.
I just always forget the parameters because
We were going
that's
out
all.
instead of in.
The-
That was the only thing that I would say.
You guys were given a temporary thing the last time you were here,
Oh,
but
what's that?
All right,
You
that's
haven't-
fine.
What is
you haven't been back here, and those temporary things don't last forever, so nobody knows that you're coming, so you get the shit shocked out
I
of
will
it.
go speak to the
I'll abandon my weapon.
after.
I'll take the damage and abandon my weapon. That's fine.
Okay, so if you don't leave your weapons in the secret room, then you will just stay there by yourselves. So those of you that wish to relinquish your weapons, you may pass and continue on with Finessa.
I'll leave in the secret room.
Boris will also put down his weapons.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood Pikel. Did you say you were staying in there, or are you leaving your weapons in there?
I'll leave my weapons in there.
Oh, okay, I misheard you. That's fine. Okay. And Guy, are you leaving your weapons there? And Guy is frozen. Shadrach? Anybody?
He and Shadrach are going with the group, leaving their weapons.
Okay.
But they both took the damage the first time fairly.
All right. So I don't remember if Brad said anything or not, but that would be a good time for a 5-minute break anyway, because
Excellent.
I have to use the restroom.
Make pizza.
Now, I made him his pizza before we started tonight, so he was sick today, so.
Just letting you know, Pikel, I'm still going to push your face in. It's just eventually. It's okay, Clark. It's only in game, man.
Michael's waiting for you.
Shad is indifferent, and Guy just makes you a focus for his anger. So it's okay.
If you have some, what's your wisdom?
Who?
Geese.
Oh, let's see here. 12.
Well, okay, you might not notice it.
I'm wiser than I am smart, because Guy has just got an average intelligence, so. Guy's not stupid, but he's not brilliant either, so.
An iron rod when he looks at you.
Compared to, Shad is brilliant compared to Guy, so.
Well,
Guy's a soldier, but he's a good one. And like I said, he's not stupid, but he's not brilliant. He knows how to read and write. That's not bad.
Michael's extremely wise.
I would imagine.
And as smart as Bart.
So there you go. See, and
so every time you see him, you don't know why, but he's tapping on if you're staring at him, he's tapping on an iron rod.
well, Guy considers you a rock polisher.
Yeah, well.
So, and he calls you Shorty. So, Guy is Guy. But Guy stood and protected you in that first attack when the ogres. He helped block them off, and he would still do it. So, just remember that. He is honorable. You just mock him too much. He's not used to being mocked. He's used to challenging people who mock him. So, if you get challenged, it can happen. At least you respected Paco's funeral.
I was going to cast Ceremony, but everybody beat me to it.
Well, I think that Guy probably would have not, I don't know. I'd had to roll myself. But that's okay. Guy is far from evil. He might want to punch you in the face, but he doesn't want to cut your throat. So.
Big difference.
He's far from evil. He is a soldier. He has that kind of honor. And he knows good from bad. So. But you're kind of like a wild card. You're this weird, non-human person who's a priest. So, yeah, he's not used to you. Even though he's from the Republic, he's from the Boondocks. But
he's becoming more worldly.
Yes, very much so. And I mean, he still didn't push your face in. So.
Well, Michael's pretty much shown he's got a lot tougher than he looks, so I'd probably get Guy pop.
Guy doesn't look for the toughness in you. He looks for something deeper. Because then Guy will attack anything. So he really doesn't see. It's like, oh, you're smaller than him, so by his definition, he could probably kick your ass. And that's how Guy sees the world.
I guess he didn't see Michael get smacked by the giant.
Guy saw you get smacked by the giant. Guy saw you rain down meteors or whatever it was on the ogres. Yeah, and I saw you fight in the cornfield. So Guy knows how powerful. You threatened to burn me in my armor. You threatened to burn me in my armor, and Guy's like, okay, all right.
No, I think I said Chad. I have a high foot waiting for you.
Yeah, basically you said you're going to cast heat armor or heat metal on Guy. And I was like, okay.
He wouldn't know what heat metal was. No, you wouldn't know.
But you can do that kind of thing. The Green Man can do that kind of thing. Finessa can do that kind of... Yeah, Guy knows what you can do.
Michael's resourceful.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've seen you put your little piece of metal in a puddle of water and... Yeah, I know. That's why Guy protected you. He still knows that you're powerful. He knows that there's a group mentality here.
He's probably not as sneaky as Badger was, but he's pretty...
He just thinks that you disrespected him and mocked him, and that's, in his particular line of work, that's a shitty thing, and he has to respond. So...
Clark, do the ladies find you handy?
Yes, they do.
I love the Red Green show. I haven't watched that in a long time.
Yeah, I saw a live show with Red Green. Actually, I have a signed... let me get it. Down here, actually.
I love that chair. Oh my god, I love that chair.
So, here...
That beautiful color in the wall. Your chair in the wall. Match. That's beautiful.
He signed your duct tape. That's awesome.
Here's your duct tape.
Perfect.
You need to put that in your, like, Walking Dead survival bag.
A duct tape. But
Gotta
if
have
you're inside something, it's gonna be a roll of duct tape, right?
That makes sense, man.
But still, your chair matching the wall is spectacular.
And for the other geeks...
Oh yeah, I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Dan man.
Well, ain't this place a geographical oddity? 2 weeks from everywhere.
I can show you that place here in Florida.
Yeah,
You're wearing a popka.
taking a tour here.
What color would you call your wall there?
Orange.
Orange.
Just straight orange? Like not pumpkin or...
I'd say burnt orange. Ah, shit, my fucking lights
But I like the fact that I still, like I said, the chair and the wall match, that's brilliant. That's beautiful.
The Grand Pioneer.
Can you play the Grand Pioneer?
My house is in disrepair because we're fixing everything.
Play Roll Out the Barrel.
Rolls a guitar, they get guitars everywhere, and I'm getting ready to finish this room.
You put it in hippie.
I put a closet over here. Put the wall across here. I'm putting wood down.
Nice.
Door over there.
Damn, I could like sleep in that corner in the back.
There's one.
The worst part about flooring is you gotta move everything over and over. Get it out of the way, move it here, put it back there.
Yeah, I got all kinds of. I got to put down paperberry and pads and.
Yeah.
That's what cheap labor's for at Lowe's.
Well, we don't have too many of those hanging on our wall.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you probably don't have that in Missouri like they have down here. It's like D&D. You can, like, ride to the store and, like, I'm going to buy this many people. To do a shitty job on my yard. You know, where's that chair, Clark? Damn it. That's a beautiful chair.
Actually, here's a better, cooler chair over here. This is like 1800s chair.
Oh, let me see this. I want to see. Oh.
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. Don't sit in that. You better put that in plastic or something. Come on now.
I wonder if John still has his rocking chair with that face carved in it. That was pretty cool.
I bet you Sarah got that. I bet you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I bet you it just was abandoned at sight. So.
Yeah, one of those things.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a bailout situation for John. So, I don't remember, but that was a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
Too many beers ago.
God knows what happened to Sarah. I
saw her once at Walmart after they were divorced. We talked for a second, but that was it. Just, hi, how you doing?
When Wendell was alive, Wendell said she was apeshit crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was like crazy cat lady living out in the woods with no electricity. It was like, oh my God. I hated her. When John first met her and I hated her. Oh my God. And then I was like, she's not so bad. But she was a nut, that's for sure.
Yeah, she was off for a rocker a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, she was a nut.
But I mean, we're all weird, but
yeah, she was.
I didn't think nothing of it at the time.
No.
All right, so
Meanwhile,
so Bart, do you leave any weapons in the room, or do you stay there while everyone else does and leaves?
I kick back and I continue the lights going and I see what I can do to the place.
Okay.
I'm just looking.
Yeah. Well, it's a dungeon.
Yeah. I like dungeons, remember?
I do not remember. Okay.
I basically had made guilty dungeon.
So the rest of you are going where?
above ground.
Yeah.
Boris is heading to the courtyard.
Has Boris
Finessa.
Been here before?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where he and Guy met up with the group.
And we came back to here. Yeah, we've been here like several times.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on a second.
So Boris goes to the courtyard. Where's everybody else going?
Courtyard.
Daryl?
Finessa tells everyone that she's going to talk to the abbot and see if we can get any... First of all, tell him what's going on and see if we can get some protection against the glyphs momentarily, long enough to get our things out.
He will go with her if he can.
As long as you're civil. You seem upset. Are you okay? You're understandably upset.
I'm fine.
It was a shame to lose Paco in that way. He was a brave warrior.
I'll avenge him.
I will honor his name. Let's see if the abbot will see us. Anyone
right.
else? I'll just wait here.
Yep.
It's nice out today.
So,
Shad, in fact, will start roaming towards the orchard.
Pikel, where are you going?
What's going on?
We've emerged.
Well, that's for you to...
Vanessa's gonna go see the abbot.
I guess I'll go with that. Vanessa.
Enki, who looks around at you and gives you kind of like a tie-dyed look.
I'll smirk back at him.
All right. So those of you that go to the courtyard, you notice that it is the start of summer. Temperatures are warm. The sun is beating down. You can tell it's going to be a nice day, but a hot day. And you know that a lot of the work is done in the early morning and the early evening. There are monks traveling, walking to and fro, doing their work. Their frocks, somewhat dirty and hems frayed from toiling in the gardens and with the sheep. But the courtyard is a pleasant place of quiet contemplation. Finessa leads Pikel and Guy to Abbot Patrick's abode.
Who is it?
I knock upon the chamber door.
The door opens and Abbot Patrick is there. And he says,
Abbot Patrick,
my,
it's so
oh
nice
my.
to see you.
Well, Sister Finessa. And he reaches out and takes your hand. And he said, I was worried you might never come back. He said, and then he looks past you and says, Sir Guy, I think.
Guy will kneel and offer to kiss his hand.
He says, no, that's fine. We don't need to worry about ceremony right now. And who is this one that you have brought with you today?
This is Pikel Hammerham. He's a renowned craftsman and adventurer of Saskrivonia.
Well, Pikel Hammerhand, if you are a friend of Sister Finessa's, then you are a friend of mine. Welcome to Black Rock Monastery. Please come in.
I enter, and I wanted to speak with you because we kind of came back abruptly. So much has gone on. I have the Elven Prince with me as well, and he used a spell to bring us here from off an Hammerham ship. So much has transpired, but the main reason I'd like to talk to you right now is because all of us, my friends here and the others that have not joined me at the moment, have had to leave our belongings, our weapons, and our things in the crypt. We entered in Bazanigan's old haunt, and I hoped that we could get some protection against the glyphs long enough to get our things out and take them outside of the monastery.
Well, I'm if you're vouching for these individuals, sister, then I don't think that would be a problem. I hope Sister Finessa has explained to you all why that no weapons are allowed here in this holy ground of healing. The weapons that you may carry are the opposite of our mission and our sacred vows to heal all those who are sick and injured. You, if you will wait a moment, sister, I will call for the sacrist, who will have the ability to deactivate the portion of the glyphs that protects the crypt, the dungeon, and the door to the outside right next to it. Obviously, make sure they don't take a wrong turn and walk in towards the
The quarters.
Yes. So he says,
Thank you, Abbott.
and he turns to one of his assistants and he says, go fetch the sacrist for me, please. And he says, yes, your holiness. And he leaves. And then he says, while we wait, are any of you injured? I'm sure Sister Finessa has taken care of you, but perhaps there is something that we can do for you now that you're here.
There are no broken bones, but we have taken bruises, and she's got scraped up knuckles and a bruise on her shoulder.
Is this Guy? Go ahead, Guy.
Guy turns to Pikel, and if it has to be an initiative thing, Guy slowly grabs his collar and pulls Pikel towards him and says, I need some healing, priest.
Well, if you need healing, all you gotta do is ask.
I'll release his collar at that moment and then nod to him.
I guess he casts heal wounds on Sergei. How bad? He examines him, see how bad he's hurt. I guess I'll cast Cure Moderate. Father, prepare it. My friend's bruises and burns and binds and cuts and touches them. All in dwarvish, of course. And does 1d6 or moderate?
Moderate's a D10, like +1 or something.
D10. You get 7 hit points back.
Guy smiles. Says, thank you, shorty.
Welcome. A weird way of asking.
Then he'll just cross his arms like he does.
Yes, Pikel is also a priest, a healer.
He owed me. And I'll bow.
And how are things at the monastery, Abbot? In my absence, is all well?
Yes, we are entering into the heart of the summer, and pretty soon there will be fresh fruit to pick and barrels to fill with mash and all of the things that we must do in preparing for the winter.
This coast, right?
What? You cut out, Clark.
This is on the coast, right?
Who are you asking?
This monastery's on the coastline, right?
Who are you asking?
Yeah.
I can't give you that information. You don't know where it is apparently, so you'll have to obtain that information in game.
You didn't see any ocean when you were walking to the place where we're at.
Oh, okay, I thought we went to the ocean from here. I forgot where it was.
No, you thought we were at the other place. I understand. Yeah, no.
Alright, listen.
What other place is he thinking of? The fort?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. No, this.
That's understandable. That's understandable because he didn't come into it until late in the thing, so that's understandable.
Was Pikel at the fort?
No, I wasn't.
No, and he wasn't at the monastery, but he has been in Tila and at Donkey Dan's.
I thought he was at the monastery. We met him at the monastery. I thought.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I just thought it was on the coast.
Okay, so yeah, I mean.
Well, there's the group. We have this ideal.
Okay, so everything is fine as far as I know. I know there's been some rumblings of sending militias and soldiers from the capital to the coast to root out these Acaramans, but everything takes so long. It'll be hard to find them.
That heartens me that perhaps Reginald made it.
Yes, Guy.
This is Shad. Shad's gonna seek out Bart.
Okay. So we'll come to that in a second.
That's fine.
So how long do you plan on staying with us?
I'm not sure what our plans are exactly. You remember the magical relic of the druids that I mentioned to you that we thought we might bring and harness here for a bit?
Yes.
We're going to go to it, and we have more information to learn and more studies to do about it. But I'm not sure how quickly we're going.
Well, obviously you can take as much time as you need.
Thank you, sir.
If your friends are going to be staying here, we can offer them a place to sleep and some food that we have. I would, of course, ask that if an extended stay is requested, that they offer to do something to help us out, so there's no
Sure.
so there's no freeloading.
Well, if you need
Yes.
then just let me know.
Well, if you are if you have any of the skills that your kind is famous for, then yes, we certainly can put you to work. And that would go for any of the rest of them. But nothing too dangerous, obviously. It would be something to pass the time and build your character. So, Finessa, I will entrust you to make sure that our laws and our ideas are followed, and obviously we are very glad that you have returned in one piece.
Thank you for your hospitality. And my friends aren't all aware of the ways of the blend, but they will respect the rules. I'm sure.
And I'm sure you'll make them aware.
I will.
Well, very good then. If I can do anything to help, obviously my door is always open to you, Sister Finessa. Please make sure that the protocol is followed and that none of them come to me without making sure they go through the proper, seeing the underlings first. My door is not open for just anyone.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Very good. I hope that I will see you for the evening soup. And
That sounds
he
wonderful.
gets up and walks over to the door and opens it, and you all file out. And what are we?
Can you tell me when the... do you mind if I wait until the orator gets here so that I'm aware? Or is he going to meet me down there? Or?
Yes.
Very good, very good.
Jason has his hand up.
Shad will have a ritual to cast when he is able to.
Well, does he want to go look for Bart, or does he want to do this?
No. Shad wanders out into the orchard, and if he has time, and if you, whenever I'm able to do my soliloquy, let me know.
All right. So I just want to finish up with Guy and Pikel and Finessa. Where do you guys go?
Thank you for receiving me, and I go to the entrance to the secret area.
All right. And when you get down there, you can see the sacrist. Although, this is me just being nerdy. I like to know.
The proctor, the sacrist. I thought the sacrist was the book guy, but
I've got
I
this.
did write it down, but it's 60 sessions ago.
Yeah, I've got this saved here under gaming. Hold on. There it is. The Prior. It's the Prior is the guy's name.
Prior. Okay. House of Emerald.
Okay, so the Prior's there, and he says, okay, so hold on a second. Are all present that need to get their things, or will you be able to get everything you need?
We will all have to pitch in and carry Boris's things, because I don't see him. Shadrach's things. That's it. Right?
Shadrach had a scimitar,
They got a spear. And Shadrach's doing.
and Guy had
Yeah, Bart's there. He'll have his things.
his bastard sword.
All right, so the warding is deactivated. You go in, gather everything, and you come out, and the ward is reactivated. Brad,
Thank you, Prior. I
Bart?
appreciate you taking time out of your busy day.
Bart, do you come
I
out?
assume Finessa picked up my scimitar.
Bart, do you come out of the hidden gem? Okay. So you guys go outside, and then the wards are reactivated, and he says, so be careful, everyone. This is all reactivated.
Yeah,
so.
I think the proctor and go on about already.
Okay, so now we will go to Shadrach.
Shad wanders out into the orchard, to the very edge of the orchard where it stops being cultivated and starts being wild. He will fall down on his hands and knees, reaching into his bag and producing fresh mistletoe now that he's on Earth that he remembers today. I cast plant growth I cast the second use of the spell, which affects a 1 mile square area. It says the DM secretly makes a saving throw based on the caster's level to see if the spell takes effect. If successful, the spell renders plants more vigorous, fruitful, and hardy, increasing yields by 20 to 50%, giving a normal growing season. The spell does not prevent disaster in the form of floods, drought, fire, or insects, although even in these cases, the plants survive better than expected. So, what I'm basically doing is Shad wanders out, as I said, to the edge of the orchard where I've been here several times, crawling on my hands and knees, letting my hands and knees get bloody, just slightly. I'll be like, give rebirth to this land, fertility, and I thank you, Mother Earth, for bringing me back. And I will fall into a heap out there at the edge of the orchard and just spread out within a square mile of me, fertility of the crops.
Okay. Your magical incantation begins to spread. And in some places it is very noticeable that your spell takes effect. But in these well-tended groves and places that are looked after by the monks, the change is very subtle. It's as if they are already functioning at a high rate of horticulturally sound, if you will. So it's interesting to see what's not tended by the wise farmers of monks versus what is wild. And sometimes things change that kind of are unexpected in form. Some things are... Read me that spell description again.
The plant growth spell enables the caster to choose either of two different uses. The first causes normal vegetation to grow, entwine, and entangle and form a thicket. That's what I cast when we protected the egg the first time.
Yeah.
I cast the second form, which says the use of this spell affects a 1 mile square area. You secretly make a saving throw based on my level to see if the spell takes effect. If successful, the spell renders plant more vigorous, fruitful, and hardy, increasing yields by 20 to 50%.
They'll have an awesome growing season.
Yeah, it will just be like all the stuff growing at the edge of the orchard will be like really rich, and then it'll be like this wild growth that will also be productive and worthy of harvesting. That's my personal opinion.
Then big blackberry bench.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wild apples and, onions, whatever, blueberries, blackberries, all that stuff.
And it would enhance the orchard as well.
Yes, by both, it's like 50-50. There's like an edge of the orchard that's really productive, and then like also this wild area is full of productive stuff that they can harvest.
I know it says the DM secretly makes a saving throw to see if the spell takes effect, but
that's Shad's intention. To make both the wild and the orchard both be productive? Yes.
Why don't you? I don't understand where it says based on the caster's level. It's like Shad just roll. Shad just roll.
Do
a
I have
saving,
a 90% chance?
Just roll a saving throw versus spell there, Shadrach. If you have if you have wisdom,
Oh, yes, I have a wisdom judgment. Yes, I do.
I'll let you add that to your roll.
Hang on here. You said versus spell?
Yeah.
All right. Hang on. Let me check real quick. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I rolled a 29 total.
No, they're not adding anything to the
Oh,
dice other
okay.
than your wisdom magical
I
attack.
rolled a 19.
Okay. So,
That saves, yeah.
2, okay. Given a normal growing season. Okay, so it's not an instantaneous growth, but you feel like the power of your spell has settled in nicely over this area that you choose, and that if something needs to grow and be fruitful, etc., like the spell describes, that it's probably going to work.
Yeah, and it says the sturdiest, like marking the end of a life cycle for even the sturdiest of trees. So this is a really sturdy crop on both sides of the line there. So.
Well, that's great. You've druided up this area.
Well, I've been here many times and done some rituals here, so I made a wicker man here. What can I
Okay.
say?
And then when you're done with that, what do you do?
I stumble slowly back towards the courtyard.
So as you're coming back, you can see your friends outside the front of the temple.
Are we storing stuff out here?
Chad stumbles up, looking all covered in twigs and stuff and bits of green and...
There you are.
And all the characters are there, so there you go.
Yep.
Finessa starts picking some leaves out of your beard.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Been a
That
while.
boat.
You get a spear back, I like
That boat. Water. No trees can grow in that water. Mm.
I didn't mind the boat ride, but I didn't care for the company.
All right.
Sorry, I couldn't think of front my belly.
Pykel has his hand up.
Michael's gonna look at Finessa and say, with your permission, I'm gonna have to use your mom's head for something.
I can cast Slow Rot on there,
Well,
I think.
I'm hoping to find some information, and I think it's just the thing.
You feel free to use that piece of evil however you feel natural, however you feel worthy.
We should burn it. We should burn it now.
It won't be any bother after I'm done with it.
You have my blessings to do as you will. I trust your wisdom.
I felt the need to ask your permission first.
I am also dealing with her remains in this sacred bundle. It's tainting my magic, but
Chad says,
I thought of that. I hoped that you would have some insight. I've studied my texts and gone through my ancient knowledge, and I can't find...
I don't want to tap into that.
I feel that I could
Undead. It's
further my own knowledge.
Well, can you divine...
Okay, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Well,
So as if on command, first of all, tell me where the head is.
yes, it's been in my backpack, I guess, or whatever. I'm not, just attached to my junk.
Tell me where the head is.
Put it in a sack, you said.
Yeah, it's in a sack. I guess it'd be dumped over my shoulder at some point.
thumbstick.
And how long has it been since the head
It's
was
been
cut off from the body?
Not even a day?
Yeah, it's not
I
even.
thought,
No,
I
you guys
thought
spent the
2 days.
night in Bart's mansion.
Yesterday,
Yeah, we did.
2 or 3 days.
2 days. We had one night, 2 days.
Yeah, because the next day we were on the boat, and we didn't stay a day or sleep there.
No?
So you can just imagine the shape, the condition of this severed head.
Bury or burn it, hang and ruin it.
Yeah, Shannon's like, what the hell? Why?
Hey, just chill out. Got a plan.
Oh, you trying to wear it back?
Nope.
No.
Sure, I can use it. Want to, but I'm gonna use it.
She got
Okay.
it.
Then use it.
Everybody be aware that you can't enter the monastery with any weapons. Where's Boris? Oh my goodness. I'll go find him.
He's like, no, wait, I'll go with you. Boris!
So, I guess Pike will just do the spell out there. Pike will gather stones and make a crane with the head and
So you're going to do this on the grounds of the monastery?
No,
outside. I guess we're outside, aren't we?
no, we're in the courtyard.
No, you're
Yeah,
out.
we're
You're out.
watching
You're out in
shop
front of the
outside.
monastery, but this monastery is surrounded by a wall that keeps everything together. So, do you do this in the area that is kept nice and pristine by these monks, or where do you go?
Yes, we're
Go outside the monastery.
outside. That's why I was doing it there.
Outside the walls of the monastery.
Yeah, I go outside the walls to do it.
Okay. So by the time Pykel figures that out, Boris is brought back by Finessa and Guy.
Yes.
Guy stops briefly to remove all of his weapons and then goes back into the monastery. That takes some extra time. And then he comes back out. And Bart's like, yeah, you can't do that in here. This is...
That wouldn't be a good idea.
All right.
Shad's just watching.
So do you all leave the monastery grounds?
I go out to watch what Michael's doing.
Yes.
All right. So now you're
Yes.
outside of the monastery grounds, outside of the walls there. You see that there are some monastery soldiers and guards there that are watching you all, not necessarily with obviously suspicious eyes, but they are watching because you are strangers, except for Finessa. She gets enough looks as it is because she's fucking Finessa.
They're all smitten with me.
And so,
Shad's been here for a while, man.
yeah, no, they're not smitten with Finessa, no. It's fairly obvious that when men look at Finessa, at least human men, they do not find her even remotely attractive.
That was beginning.
He's kind of growing on me.
She's got a negative reaction on her charisma, just so you know, in game terms.
Yes, but Shad sees your wisdom, Vanessa.
So anyway, Pykel, you find a place outside the walls, and you do what?
Okay, I set up a crane of rocks to put the head on and plop it. I draw different runes around the crane of rocks, and I cast divination.
That's exactly right.
Then I would say, Warden, grant me the wisdom and knowledge to help destroy these witches, these lands from the giants, and cast divination. And the if I can describe it, my sacrifice is the skull or the head of the witch. And the ground itself, and it couldn't fold down, fold over, and the ground itself would absorb the head. Like a cheesy claymation motion. The cream would start burying itself, and everything would fold over on itself, and the head would be absorbed into the earth. And that would be the spell.
All right, that's a pretty good description. I can dig that. So this spell is used to garner a useful piece of advice concerning a specific goal, event, or activity that will occur within a 1-week period. This can be as simple as a short phrase, or it might take the form of a cryptic rhyme or omen. So, what are you saying exactly? What are you trying to learn? What is it that you're asking?
That's the best way. What is the key to destroying the coven? And I'm hoping, because I'm using the head of one of the leaders of the coven, that will grant me a little mojo on that.
Okay, the base chance for a correct divination is 60% plus 1% for each experience level. I make adjustments to this considering the actions being divine. The material components of the divination spell are a sacrificial offering, incense, and the holy symbol of the priest. If an unusually important divination is attempted, sacrifice of a particularly valuable gem. So,
I'm getting to.
I like the idea of using the head as a sacrificial offering. Of course, it's working around the intent of the spell, which it has to be something that is actually something that you're...
Well, I would consider it valuable as far as something towards mission. That's the reason I kept it, because I thought it was valuable to garner something important. So it's valuable to me. I don't know.
So is this something you would keep if you could? That's what makes it valuable. That's the definition of value, is if it is something that you want to keep, or that
That someone would pay you money for.
I don't know. Ogre heads, they can go for a little bit on the upper market.
What do you guys, am I being unreasonable and saying that's kind of skirting around the idea of the spell here? Or is this a thing?
I used the spell.
Good idea as far as just...
I'll tell you what.
Michael has...
Just go ahead and... What's up, Daryl?
I used the spell and got a good vision, and because you told me it had to be relative to the inquiry, and I used the pages from book to learn who was the biggest threat when I got my vision of Cryos on his throne, who was ill, and all the slaves. And because you said it had to be, the sacrifice needed to be relative to what you were trying to learn.
All right. Well, it might not matter. Pikel, roll percentile. Jason has his hand up.
I was going to say, Michael has expressed more than once the value he put to the head, while everybody else gave him grief for it, so...
All right, what'd you get, Michael? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're cutting out. What'd you roll?
I said I missed a perfect 100 by 1. I rolled a 99.
Okay, so that's a failure, even if you gave up something where I was to give you a plus 20% for your sacrifice. So, but I'm feeling generous because you did make an attempt to roleplay something, and I think you should be rewarded. So, roll again.
All right, 29.
Okay. Your eyes glaze over, and then you just shut them, and you're quiet, and your beard kind of blows in the slight breeze, and the things that you have in your beard make sounds like a beard chime.
You. Like that.
However, the spell only gives you this very terrible answer. Each member of the coven is unique. There is no single way to defeat all of them.
Alright, I guess that part of it and said, well, that wasn't much help. Well, at least I don't stink anymore.
Oh no, your bag's ruined.
I wouldn't care much about the bag.
Having
Perhaps we should start a fire. And burn the bag. And this seems like an appropriate burial, as the very tendrils of Skell have consumed what was left of her. Start a fire, and I'm gonna burn this bundle. We'll destroy it.
Chad will help the fire to grow.
okay.
He'll walk around it with his hands, yeah.
So you gather wood, you get enough wood to burn whatever you think you need to burn, and then once you get the fire going, you toss the bundle in there.
I'll do a funeral ceremony. I'll say a few words, nothing in praise of her, but just in memory of the woman that I remembered from my childhood. Let this evil be banished and release her spirit. And she'll put the sacred bundle into the fire.
All right.
May her rebirth bring her truth.
Is that Shadrach?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else do or say anything at this ceremony? No one? Okay. Then Finessa, roll me a d20.
Seven.
The fire burns for an hour, hour and a half. And much to your dismay, that sacred bundle remains unburned, unharmed.
Can either of you, any of you, remove evil? I can't remove the evil that taints this sacred bundle. It's connected to the one that I carry that enlightens me so that I may use my magic.
If one's connected to the other, can you destroy one without destroying the other?
Did I feel any burning sensation or anything like that from the sacred bundle that I have?
No. Much like the sacred
Okay.
bundle in the fire, it seems to only be warmed by being next to Finessa's skin.
So I feel like this is a useful item and I can expand my own knowledge by somehow removing the evil from it. I can remove a curse.
Hang on.
Gentlemen,
I can
gentlemen,
attempt.
now would be a good place to stop, because if you guys really want to do this, you're going to need to think about what it is that you're trying to do. And
I know that I've been looking through my spell list all night, and
I'm
I'm
not.
not coming up with anything.
Help. Damn it.
But anyway, yeah, now would be a good place to stop. I know it's a little early, but honestly, I'm very tired, and it's been a long fucking couple days, so that's all I can tell you.
Same
No,
here.
I agree, because I've been working overtime all week. But nonetheless.
Yeah, my
it's been great
colon's
fun.
been working overtime. Oh,
Well,
Ay, ay, ay.
yeah, exactly.
That is no fun at all. Well, go sit down.
I would say I had a hot foot, but I'd have to move it up a bit, so. Anyway, that is it. Any last words before we conclude?
Dude.
yeah,
It was nice to see y'all.
great fun.
See you next week.
All right,
Be well.
we'll catch you next time. Thank you. Oh, good night, Internet.